Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So, one thing, I'm going to say something, and this is something I don't, well, I'm going to do something. This is something I don't do a lot of, and that is actually compliment the Queensland Police Service and the officers involved in this incident. And even though it was an incident which resulted in the shooting of a man in Queensland, I'm reading through the story thinking, you can tell that these guys, these officers, they weren't there. They were there to do their duty. They were trying to avoid. It seems to me after reading this, they were out there to avoid what actually happened. And they'd put everything into, I think, trying to avoid this outcome. But it seems like it was possibly virtually unavoidable. What else could you do? And like I said, I'm very rarely these days sitting there complimenting police in Queensland, but I've got to take my hat off to these officers and also empathize with what they've gone through here. And you can see the actions that they've taken and why and why I'm saying that they were obviously trying to avoid this outcome that actually happened. So a few days ago, I'll bring the story up so you can see. A few days ago, a Townsville man was shot dead by police. I'll bring the story up. 26-year-old Townsville man has been shot dead by police. So police arrived at the man's residence an hour after they were called to perform a mental health check. Well, that's pretty routine. It's pretty standard being asked to perform a mental health check. So a mental welfare check by police resulted in the shooting death. Police were called to a Mount Louisa, Townsville address just after 12:10 a.m. on Sunday, with two officers arriving at the residence an hour later. Queensland Police Service said in a statement the man allegedly advanced at the attending officers with a knife before being shot. QPS confirmed at the time of the shooting 6 police officers were present. And this is why these are some of the reasons why I believe, they were obviously, they knew that there was a threat. They knew that this was something serious. And it wasn't just about, hey, having a couple of people there. There was nothing blasé about it. You got 6 officers. That's really, especially in a place like Townsville, that's a lot of resources to send to one mental health check job. But obviously they're taking it seriously, I think. So Queensland Police said the officers performed first aid. However, their efforts were unsuccessful. Acting Chief Superintendent Chris Lawson said police attempted to use a taser to disarm him. I heard this initially when the story first came out, and it really pricked my ears because that's not the procedure. You don't, if someone is presented a knife, and you're a police officer and someone presents a knife, you don't go for the taser, you go for the gun. And that's just procedure, because it's so, and people overlook this. It's so easy to kill with a knife. There's footage out there. You can see footage and people killing with a knife. Remember, I'd seen the footage of the chap that got killed in Brisbane. A couple of young fellas sparring, having a bit of a fight. One of them's got just a tiny little knife, straight jab, straight out, hits a big fella right in the neck, just very quick. Big fella goes down. It slashed his artery there, and 7 seconds later, he's bled out. It is so quick, so easy to kill with a knife. It's not recommended to pull your taser. You're supposed to pull your gun. Last time, I've been out of it for a bit over a year now, but I've been out of GDs for a long time. But it was never the procedure. You pull your taser. If someone's presented a knife, you pull your gun. And this is why I'm saying it seems obvious. It seems like these officers were trying. They were there, and they were trying to avoid this very outcome. But Acting Chief Superintendent addressed questions during a press conference on Sunday, where he was asked why it took police an hour to respond. There in Townsville, Crikey. We were responding to a number of incidents, and as a result of priorities and police being available, the first available unit got there at 1:15. Um, Look, like I said, I, I don't know if I have a lot of sympathy for QPS as a whole, the organization, but these officers, especially these officers at the moment in Townsville, they're being run ragged because of the youth crime. So, you know, it really, come on, it's understandable. It is understandable. You got to have a bit of empathy for what police are going through up there. He says it's understood that family members were present at the home during the time of the call and shooting and were attempting to de escalate the situation. The matter is under investigation by ESC. There, so the two main reasons why I'm saying I can understand, and it seems to me that police were trying their best to avoid the situation. If there were six officers there at the time of the shooting, they weren't just looking at this, okay, it's just another mental health, it's just another check. Okay, something serious is going on, more resources, especially in a town like Townsville. It's a big deal to have six coppers at one job like that. And then for them to attempt to taser someone when there's already a knife present, it I think it shows that there's consideration that, hey, we this is something we want to avoid. We want to avoid taking a life. And in the end, it seems like, well, and I'm probably reading a lot into it, their backs against the wall. But one thing I'd like to share with my own experience, especially obviously it was only when I was in general duties, GDs, that I was dealing with mental health patients. And there was one job I remember very clearly that it made me realize that I was very ill equipped to deal with uh, mental health, people who had mental health issues. I remember, I shouldn't laugh at me. I felt sorry for this lady. Okay, so we called to this job, go and, can't remember what the actual call, it might have been like a mental health check as well. Go and do a check on this lady. She'd been having some issues, and I can't even remember who called it in, and we had to go and check. Now, I remember my partner, uh, he was saying that, oh, he hadn't dealt with her in quite a while. And he made the comment, oh, she must be off her meds because I haven't had to deal with her for quite a while. And then he told me the story about the last time he had dealt with her, and she'd been she'd been held, so police had to take her into their custody. She had then, while she was in the watch house, she had smeared herself with her own feces. And so he's told me this probably just but anyway, true story. And it was I won't tell you his name, but they called him Cracker. And I was sitting there going, what the heck? I don't want to deal with someone that likes to smear themselves. I'm just, all this stuff's going through my head. Anyway, so I remember we get to this place, and we're calling out, we're trying to see what's going on. I've had to walk in to the place and check it out, even though no one's answered. I've gone inside just because, you don't know whether you've got to check in case someone's decide to end things themselves. And I'm going through the living room, walking through the house. I remember walking into the living room. It's very kind of old style, and the furniture is very old style. And it's like in the living room, it's one of these old settings where you've got like the cupboards, and then you've got the cupboards, and you've got like a settee where you would have like plates and stuff all on display, and then it kind of like sinks back into a mirror down the back and then comes out again, and you've got more like shelf space where you can have things on display. And so there's no one. I'm calling out and there's no one in this living room. And so I'm walking through the living room, and then I jump with a fright because where it kind of sinks back and you see the mirror, I kind of see it at the corner of my eye. And I jump back, there's a woman sitting, she's perched like a little bird, and I'll jump up. So she's like crouched up like this, like crouched up in the little settee, hidden in like where it's sunken in with the mirror behind her, and just crouched there, sitting with her hands up like this, sitting, and I'm like, what the flip? She's she scared me. I was just like, got a fright. I'm like, what the heck am I? And I'm like, I just remember because she's sitting there like a bird, literally like a bird, just sitting there looking at me, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Eh, Anyway, I kind of coaxed her down eventually, and she gets. But it was at that moment I realized I am not equipped. I don't have the skills, the skill set. I have the skill set to arrest people, to wrestle, to get into a fight, maybe if I had to defend myself, to try and, you know, to investigate, to look at things, to crime, and a bit of skill with dealing with law issues. But dealing with mental health patients, man, I'm sitting there going, man, I don't know what I'm doing. This lady is crouched up there like a bird, just looking at me, not saying anything. It was a little unsettling. Kind of coaxed her down, talked to her, got her to get into the car with us, and then transported to Cairns. If my memory serves me correctly, I think she might have been released from the mental health ward before we'd even made it back to our station. So, but all I'm saying, all this for is police, unfortunately, when it comes to these jobs, I think police are called to these jobs, and it's in a lot of ways, this is beyond them. It is, and I'm not saying that police shouldn't be at the jobs, because you probably should be at those jobs because to help with security kind of thing, and to help with that presence of law. But realistically, some of these things, I think I felt like police were unequipped. I felt that day I was unequipped. What am I going to do? How am I handling this? I mean, everything ended up okay with this lady eventually, but it just made me realize how easily things can escalate when you're dealing with people who have some serious mental health issues. And then what I found was they inadvertently, just like they'd always decide, oh, it's all good. I'm going to go off my meds. Oh, I'm going to have a change. Oh, I've got some family coming. So, I'm not supposed to drink alcohol, but I've got friends and family coming over. So, hey, I'm going to get on the grog this weekend and just hit it. And then you're like, and then it all goes pear shaped from, and police are called in. And unfortunately, that's what it seems like happens here. Police are called in for a mental health check. And sometimes I think, would it have been better off if something like this, they had I know you can't have a doctor or something, but someone else present who can just go in there beforehand and start talking, try and get a sense of the situation, try and a mental health worker, a health worker, a counselor, someone. Uh, I felt like I wasn't equipped to deal with people who were having mental health issues, who were having breakdowns. But and how much more, and how the thing is, it's like, to me, these officers have been put into a situation, and and then you're confronted. They're put into a situation which realistically you're not. I don't think you're really that well trained for when it comes to dealing with mental health patients. You can go through scenarios at the academy, but man, nothing really, nothing can really help you, for that time when you're really confronted with people with some serious issues and they cannot be talked down. You need more than just the experience of police training. But anyway, look, just going by the reports from what I've heard on the radio, the news reports, and from what I have read, uh, condolences to the man who, his family, the man that lost his life, and his family, but also to these officers who were presented with this and then were forced into this situation. Uh, I don't think our government, I don't think QPS, the organization, and I don't think our government, because this is a situation that's been going on for a long, long time. So I don't think this is a situation. I don't think that the government and the police organisation and the union are really supporting things and really coming up with solutions that really help prevent these situations from continuing. We need to come up with a better way. We really do. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Jay Fallon, as always, just my opinion. Thanks for listening to this slippery slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize. Gonna sail on the clouds and tears on sight. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna